Yeah, you know, Edwin said you wanted to know. He said, did you tell Marcia? I want to say it was the 16th last time in November, but no, it was the 8th. We played for a bar mitzvah. Yeah, really. Yeah. Well, the bar mitzvah, she asked. Oh, they do? Here too. Yeah. Yeah. Not for a long time. Yeah. Sheldon plays a lot there. Yeah. I don't know her, Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. I went to Hanukkah like 4 years ago, or before the pandemic.
Grown adults.
Yeah.
So I was responsible for the bar.
Oh, really?
They treat us well.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Letter with cute news.
Sometimes.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to begin, as we always do, with some psalms, some music to bring us into this space. We go to page 129, Dodi Li from Song of Songs.
Dodi li
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Cantor Devorah Avery. This is, of course, we're with Or Zimrah tonight, which is wonderful. And we have some special guests and a special honor of one of our members. So we have some wonderful things going on this evening. But first, we are going to light Shabbat candles. So I invite up Hannah and Yvette to come light and bless these Shabbat candles, bringing some warmth into this space. Light first.
There's a little ruach going on in here.
We're going to turn now to page 123, and we rise in body or in spirit as we're able for the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'may mikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. I just wanted to, and you can have a seat. I didn't want to be remiss. We actually have someone who has been joining us who's new. So I just want to make sure we all know who's here. We've got Marcia, our cantorial soloist emerita, Holly Berman. We've got Noah and David, Norm, and Hannah, who just started joining us over the summer. So really grateful to have you all here tonight. We're going to continue now with Lecha Dodi. We are going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And it's our custom when we get to verse 9, we're going to rise as we're able and face the entrance to the synagogue, to the sanctuary. And it's a nod and a gesture to welcome in what the mystics call the Shabbat bride, is a nod and a welcome to bringing in Shabbat into our space. So at that point, we'll invite you to rise. So Lecha Dodi, page 138.
Dodi, Likhat Kala, Yemei Shabbat, Kabela, Likhat Dodi, Likhat Kala, Yemei Shabbat, Kabela, Shamo. תזכור וזכור בדיבורך השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושם ותפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה לראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה התעוררי כי בעורף כולי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה 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 בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אלוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה שלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון מלאכי השלום
We're going to be standing for a bit, so that's why I wanted you to sit while you could. So we are going to rise as we're able. We're going to turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu.
Adonai HaMevorach, Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Page 150.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Ahamta, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu Adonai Eloheinu B'shofteinu u'pruneinu Nasiach bechukecha V'nizmach b'divrei Toratcha le'olam va'ed. Ki hein kayenu
We're going to continue on with our handout, and this is a melody that I think we've done in the past, not since I've been here, but it was written in 1970, so it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. We invite you to join us.
Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart. Shall be in your heart. Shall be in your heart. And you will teach them diligently unto your children. And you will speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you will bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they will be for frontlets between your eyes, and you will write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gate, and upon your gate, and upon your gates,
together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. On the next page.
Like you, Adonai. Who is like you,
Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Ufros tova milfanecha ve'hoshienu le'man shemacha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim l'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha V'taknenu be'etzah tova milfanecha Ve'hoshienu le'man shemacha.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise in body or in spirit as we are able, page 164.
Adonai יפתח ופי הגיד תהילתך ופי הגיד תהילתך
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nechem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv Haruach Umarid Hagashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayem Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Let's be seated. Let's turn now to our prayer for peace, page 178.
Tahu melech Adon lechol hashalom Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Yisrael Am Chatasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Yisrael Am Chatasim Le'olam V'tov beinecha levarech Et Amcha Yisrael B'chol edu b'chol shah B'shlom lecha Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Yisrael Am Chatasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Yisrael Am Chatasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Shalom Rav Yisrael
We're going to take a few moments now for our own silent prayers, reflections, meditations of our hearts, and we'll come back together on page 180.
Shalom, Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Le'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'yimeru Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen.
With a song and prayer and the hope of peace in our hearts, let's bring into this space all of those in our midst who are in need of healing in mind, body, or in spirit. Our custom is to just say the names aloud, kind of all together as one voice. So if you have people that you're praying for, you may say their names aloud now, or you can simply hold their names in your heart. Liz Holzman. We lift these names to God, and we pray that they and their families may find added hope, healing, and strength as our prayers are linked with theirs. You'll find our prayer for healing on the handout.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. El Narifah. tired spirits. Rejuvenate our lives. El Nar Rifana La Rifana Lanu. El Nar Rifana La Rifana Lanu. Thank you for all these blessings throughout our days and nights. We celebrate the journey, this precious gift of life. El Nar Rifana La Rifana Lanu. El Nar Rifana La Rifana Lanu. El Nar Rifana La Rifana Lanu.
And adding to our prayers for healing, we think of those hostages who have been in captivity for 435 days now. And we pray for their comfort, their ease, their healing, and for their families. And let's join together and sing this prayer for our hostages on our handout, Achenu.
Achenu, kol beit Yisrael. Achenu, kol beit Yisrael. Hanetunim b'tzara, b'tzara ubashivya, ha'omdim bein bayam, uvein bayabasha. Achenu, kol beit Yisrael. Achenu, kol beit Yisrael. Hanetunim b'tzara, b'tzara ubashivya, ha'omdim bein bayam, uvein bayabasha. Hamakom yirachem, yirachem aleihem, v'yotzihem mitzara, birvacha, u'me'afeya li'ora, u'meshibud li'geula hashta bagala, u'bizman kariv. Hashta bagala, u'bizman kariv.
So we have a blessing for one of our congregants, Susan Rona. Would you like to come up here? Susan was just appointed as the regional director of the Mountain States region of the Anti-Defamation League, and we are so proud that you are here and that you're part of our community and that you're going to be doing such important and meaningful and beautiful work. And Holly and I have a blessing that we want to share with you now, a blessing from Torah. And we just wish you, as you move forward into this new work, into this new position, that you bring your heart, your soul, and the gifts that you possess to do beautiful work, meaningful work, important work for all. Ken Yehi Ratzon. As our tradition teaches us to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God, may God bless you and keep you and grant you the strength to do this important work. God, as we ask you to shine your light upon Susan, we ask that you continue to be with her and guide her in bringing her light to help others bring their light to this world, so that we may fulfill the sacred work of tikkun olam, repair of this world. Ken Yehi Ratzon. As we ask you to bless Susan with peace and completeness and wholeness, love and blessing, we remember that our Torah teaches us to love our fellows as we love ourselves. We pray that you imbue Susan with the clarity, wisdom, and strength to be a teacher and a leader in spreading this love to ourselves, our neighbors, and to the world. Amen and amen. May you be strong and be strengthened in your work. So I'm going to invite now. We also have our guest artists today, literally and figuratively. And I'm going to invite Samara Schwartz, our director of lifelong learning, to come up and introduce them.
Will be. These are lovely people. These are magnificent artists. They work as paper midrash, but really that's Rabbi Shawna and that's Isaac. And I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that last name. It is not English phonetically. They'll tell you. But they're wonderful. And they're going to be here all weekend. And there is still room at all the other things they are doing. So if you are a responsible adult is a legal definition. I will let you choose if you are responsible for yourselves. Except for you. You look suspicious. If you are a responsible adult and you would like to learn some Torah and play with knives, this is why the responsibility is important. There is still room tomorrow at Torah Study with Knives. That's at 11 o'clock here tomorrow. If you are a teenager, you don't have to be as responsible. You're a teenager. You can still come tomorrow afternoon. And if you are not a teenager, if you are chronologically disadvantaged, and I will not let you play with knives or spray paint, because I am mean, then you can still come on Sunday morning. Whether you're doing an amazing community art project, and all of you are welcome to come on Sunday morning of any age and type and place your mark on a magnificent piece of art that we are going to have for our congregation. And it looks like they're ready. See, told you it would be just that long.
Thank you. All right, let me see if I can move this over without disrupting too much.
Yeah, it's working out great.
That works. All right, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Shawna Brynjegard Bialik.
And I'm Isaac Brynjegard Bialik. It's not
just
that
like
hard.
It's spelled.
We have had, more than 30 years practice saying it, though. We hyphenated when we got married, so yeah.
Yes, you
we'll
can
get
tell
there.
we got married in the 90s.
So one of the things we do is we teach about the connection between Jewish texts and we use comic books to teach about Jewish texts and pop culture.
Now, comic books, the industry itself, was created by Jewish writers and artists and publishers in the early 20th century in America. And to this day, you can still see that Jewish influence in the narrative style, the use of language, the morality plays, the storytelling, all of that just is imbued with this Jewish nature, this storytelling that we have.
So it works as a great secondary text to think about Jewish text. Tonight, we're going to start talking about Hanukkah. If you've been watching the sky, right, the moon is starting to shrink a little bit. And as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, we get closer and closer to Hanukkah. And it also lends itself really well to connect with stories about heroes and superheroes. The question is, who is the hero of the Hanukkah story? Because the reality is we don't just have a Hanukkah story, we have two Hanukkah stories. There are two versions that talk about two different miracles. And depending on who's telling the story determines who the hero of the story is. So is it God or is it the Maccabees? So we'll start with from the book of Maccabees. The book of Maccabees is apocryphal literature, so those are things that were written around the same time as Tanakh, right, at the same time as Torah, but they didn't make it into the Jewish canon. So the book of Maccabees gives us what seems like a historical story. By the way, written about 2nd century CE. We have King Antiochus of the Seleucid Greek Empire. He has a massive army behind him, and he wants the tiny piece of land that is the land of Israel. And so Judah Maccabee and his brothers join together with a small band of soldiers, and this tiny, tiny army is able to successfully beat back and defeat the Seleucid and Greek Empire, and to get well, I think we say it was the last Jewish independence until the State of Israel in 1948. When we talk about the Maccabees are all human beings. They are all people, and the lesson is that anybody with the proper tools and equipment could be a hero.
Right, so Iron Man is just Tony Stark. He's just some guy in a suit with plenty of technology. Heroes like Batman and the Black Widow, these are just people who choose to do good, and they choose to do it however they can, but they're just human beings. Any one of us could be Batman or Black Widow, given the right impetus.
Right, the right amount of money and training.
Yeah.
Right, that we tell these stories, the message is that any one of us can be a hero, that any of us have that ability, right? That we might be small, but we can win. This is not by might, not by power, but by spirit alone. We have that ability. And so it's really uplifting to know that we, even if we feel overpowered, have an ability to make change. And this story about this miracle of what people can do, we like those kind of stories. We see it in our own American history. There is a story about Washington at Valley Forge. I would say this is also apocryphal in the sense that it probably never happened, but it makes a lovely story. In that story, there is a young Jewish soldier with Washington in that brutal winter at Valley Forge, and he is sharing the story of Hanukkah, and George Washington, walking past his tent, overhears it and says, wow, this is an amazing story that our young American troops need to hear as we're trying to break away from the British, and that the story of Hanukkah becomes something that is shared with everybody to encourage the troops. So that's our first story of Hanukkah. However, when the rabbis talk about Hanukkah in the Talmud, the very first thing they say is, my Hanukkah. What is Hanukkah? And we have to go, well, how do the rabbis not know what Hanukkah is? How can they not know? So the rabbis tell the other story of Hanukkah. Their story is very much focused on the other miracle. The miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days, right? This is a divine miracle. That when the Maccabees get to the temple that has been destroyed, they want to rebuild, they want to fix it, they want to relight the eternal light. And so they look everywhere for oil, and everything has been ruined, and they find a teeny tiny jar, not even enough to last for 1 day. And yet, they light it, and God causes a miracle, and it lasts for 8 whole days. This is the story of Hanukkah that comes from the Talmud. The focus is on God and oil and the light. And in this story, the hero of the Hanukkah story is God.
And of course, comics and pop culture have plenty of stories in which the hero is a godlike figure. Thor is part of the Norse pantheon. He's a god, lowercase g. Comic books, right? Characters like Superman. Superman isn't an earthling. He's not a human. He comes from another planet. He has powers and abilities beyond that of mortal man and woman. He is a godlike figure. And when Superman is the hero, it changes the type of story.
Right, so you get kind of a more universal story. If God is the hero, God is everyone's hero. God is kind of the ultimate hero who supports the entire world, not just the Jewish people. But the rabbis really liked this story better. They weren't as big of fans of the military victory, and they very much focused on this idea that this is God helping us spread light. The rabbis then were clear that if the important part of the story is the miracle of the oil and God is the hero, then we are obligated to celebrate and to share that miracle. And so even in the Talmud, right, we frequently hear people say, Hanukkah's not that important of a holiday. And that's sort of true, right? It doesn't occur in Torah. It occurs in rabbinic literature. But the rabbis, if you are tempted to say it's not important, the rabbis ask this question. They say, if you only have enough money to either buy oil for your Hanukkah lamp, right, pre-candles, or to buy wine for Shabbat, what should you do, right? They're assuming, and they're then having a discussion about which is more important, having your Hanukkah menorah lit or having wine for Shabbat. You might be surprised that the answer the rabbis give is that you are required to light your menorah, to buy oil if you can only afford one, because we are required to publicize the miracle. We are required to share that miraculous connection with God and spreading light. And this is what comic books do at this time of year.
Yes, so because we have so many Jewish artists and writers who have been involved in comics, not only do we see things that sound like Jewish stories, but occasionally we get explicit Jewish stories. So this is from an Incredible Hulk comic book. We hear the actual story of Hanukkah being told by Doc Samson, and Doc Samson is one of those little-known Jewish superheroes. He's got long green hair. You may have seen him. He hasn't shown up in a movie yet, but fingers crossed. But a Jewish superhero talking about the Maccabees in a comic book.
So, how do we know if a superhero is Jewish?
There are a few ways you can tell. So first of all, your superhero may be explicitly a Jewish hero of old. So for instance, the Seraph, you can see him here hanging out with Superman. He has Moses' staff, and his hair is long like Samson, and he has Solomon's ring. All of these things peg him as being a Jewish superhero. Now, you may find a hero who's wearing the Israeli flag as their costume, similar to Captain America. Sabra and Rambam, so Sabra is in Marvel, Rambam is in DC. Both of them wear what is in essence the blue and white Israeli flag. That's how you know that they are Israeli and Jewish superheroes. Now, your hero might have a Jewish backstory, another key point. So for instance, Moon Knight, we know, grew up Jewish, had a rabbi as a teacher. You may have seen him portrayed by Oscar Isaac in the television series that he's got. He's got a kippah, a Jewish star. There's Shiva, and an obsession with Egypt, so you know he's Jewish.
So Robin is Jewish?
All right, so the Torah seems like it would be a giveaway. Robin is in fact not Jewish. He was created by a Jewish writer and a Jewish artist. And when he's handled, that legacy is sort of given to him. So here he and Batman were saving a synagogue. Robin catches the Torah on the bima. And what does the young boy wonder say? Well, he knows. You say, today I am a man.
How about Wonder Woman?
All right. Wonder Woman speaks Aramaic. She knows the Kaddish. But she knows all languages. She's not a Jewish character, even if she is played by a Jewish woman in the movies. Still not a Jewish character.
Spider-Man?
Yiddish. All right, so here's the thing about superhero names. If your last name ends in M-A-N, you're either Jewish or you're a superhero, maybe both. Spider-Man is not Jewish. He does speak a lot of Yiddish, but he's from Brooklyn. He's from Queens. So what do you expect? Even Superman, when written by a Jewish writer, again, as he has been recently by Brian Bendis, you see that Jewishness coming through, someone mentioning chutzpah right in front of the colors there. It's nice, but again, Superman, not a canonically Jewish superhero.
So, how do we know if a superhero is Jewish?
So this is the perfect time of year to ask that question. In December, many comic publishers have a special December issue, their holiday special. Everyone is celebrating Christmas. So find that crowd of heroes celebrating, and if there's someone saying Happy Hanukkah, like Batwoman is, that's the Jewish superhero. And if not saying Happy Hanukkah is enough, look for the menorah. You will find a Jewish superhero lighting a menorah in the December issues of your comics.
So while it may not be what the comic writers originally intended, they're actually following Jewish law pretty carefully, because this is the comic book equivalent of putting your Hanukkah at the entrance to your house. It is a very public announcement of your Jewish identity. And we are taught in Talmud that this is a requirement, right? You don't hide your Hanukkah away. You place it somewhere prominent near the front of your house so that everybody can see it. And you have to you can't put it up high, right? I don't remember how high 20 cubits is, but you have to put it somewhere where people will actually see it when they look and not have to tip their heads up. The requirement is for it to be in public, to share that miracle, and it doesn't count if you put it so high up that no one can see it, and I think we see this over and over in comics.
Yes, because whether it's a Jewish writer or a Jewish artist or just a Jewish superhero, you see menorah after menorah after menorah. So whether it's Winter Soldier or Ragman or Kitty Pryde or Dr. Stein or all of these characters, menorah, menorah, menorah. It's almost embarrassing sometimes, because these are mainstream comics, and you're seeing Judaism, out in the world, and it's actually lovely. And by the way, I want to point out Batwoman here, Kate Kane. She's a Kohen. She's Jewish. Her girlfriend is not. They celebrate both holidays together, and obviously a non-Jewish artist drew that 7-branched menorah when it should be the 9-branched Hanukkah, but they try so hard.
They tried.
Here's one that's correct. You can see Wiccan and Sasquatch lighting a Hanukkah, and possibly my favorite for this holiday is Colossal Boy, who is a member of the Legion of Superheroes. Takes place in the 30th century. 1,000 years from now, you still see Jewish heroes celebrating Hanukkah with their family.
I love how optimistic that is, that Judaism and Jews still exist 1,000 years from now in space. But I think my other favorite thing about him is that his mother is president of Earth. And so it's a Jewish woman who is president of Earth.
It's silly, but it's good representation in the comics. I mean, you want to see ourselves. You want to see our stories. You want to see our celebrations, right, in the public sphere.
It's that optimism and that hope. And that is what had the Israelites and the Maccabees lighting that oil that very first night, not knowing how long it was going to last. It takes a lot of hope to light something that you think might burn out before you're able to create more of it. We set up menorahs, we set up Hanukkahs, we love to see it in comics and on television, because it's important for us to keep telling that story and to celebrate stories of heroism of the past and of the present and even fictional. When we light our menorah that's coming up in just less than 2 weeks, we're taught that we add light every night, that we elevate in matters of sanctity and we don't downgrade, so we continue to add light. And you will notice that the moon is getting smaller and smaller and smaller until about the 3rd day of Hanukkah. Because even in the darkest of times, we continue to add light to the world. We continue to hold on to both stories of Hanukkah. The story of the determined group of people fighting for freedom, and the story about the miracle of oil. Because these are stories about hope, and the kind of miracle, and it is a miracle, that all these thousands of years later, we are still here telling the stories of our people, celebrating together, and lighting our menorahs. And so by publicizing the miracle, we are recognizing that even though we are a small group, and the way that we decorate our homes calls attention to us, The thing that makes us really stand out is our attention to values, to tikkun olam, to gathering sparks of light in the darkness, and to increasing light and blessing in the world. That is our superpower as Jews, spreading light and blessing in the world. And so to do that, we have to be willing to stand up, to fight for what is right, and to stop evil. And even though our battles may not be as epic as the Maccabees or as comic book superheroes, it is our quest for tikkun olam, for making this world a better place, that truly does save this world. So on this Shabbat, as we begin to prepare for Hanukkah, may you find this Shabbat and all of your Hanukkah filled with light, and may you use your superpower to spread light to everyone in the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I know my husband enjoyed it, so. And I did too. So we're going to move to conclude our service. We're going to rise and turn to page 586, and then we'll head over to page 591. So 586, then 591.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. Those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. It's our custom here to, before we read the list of names, for anybody here who is saying Kaddish, to please share the name of your loved one or loved ones that you are saying Kaddish for this evening. Oh yeah, okay, order. Let's go from this way to this way. We continue to remember those whose death occurred in recent weeks, whose shloshim, 30 days of mourning, we still observe. Rhoda Blake, mother of Sherry Schnee, Adele Auerbach, mother of Yvette Auerbach, Carolyn Acker, cousin of Eliza Acker, Mortimer Aaron, husband of Susan Aaron, father of Andy Bavarnik, Tracy Sarko Strimple, sister of Dan Sarko, and Marilee Brown, mother of Natalie, Deborah, Andrew, Josh, and Amy, and Julie Zichronah Livracha. She just passed a few hours ago. On the Shabbat, we commemorate the yahrzeit of the following: Janice Aaron, Faye Ruth Avery, Patricia Avery, Jerry Bentley, Carl Berner, Morris Bronstein, David Crockett, Sidney Dubin, Bernard Freiberg, Sidney Freelander, Melvin Gallant, Gilbert Gordon, Irene Gorman, Charles Greenbaum, Mel Jackson, Prabha Devi Jha, Margot Cohen, Jack Landau, Vera Virginia Lovett, Ruth Lurie, Barbara Tober Margolis, Israel Nabedrek, Sidney Nulvite, Steve Oransky, Carlos Rafael Pestana Pereira, Betty Rawich, Doris Reiner, Olga Simon, Lillian Steinman, and Marcia Yoches. Yehiyu zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. We rise as we are able, and we read our Kaddish prayer together, shoulder to shoulder with those who are in mourning. Page 598. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, ma'alechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah bevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei de kudisha b'richu, ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all who mourn, and to the whole world, and let us say, amen. You can have a seat. So I want to just thank everybody who is a part of our service tonight, especially our speakers. Thank you so much. That was great. And it proved true a lot of what my husband has shared with me about Jewish superheroes. So also just thank you to Or Zimrah for just lifting our hearts and bringing more light to us this evening.
Thank you to Cantor Avery for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
We love each other. It's kind of a thing.
So, we have a lot going on this weekend, as Samara shared. Thank you to bringing our people to us this weekend. So look into our program and see what's going on, and we hope to see you. So we're going to close. We haven't done this a lot, but I feel like it's a very good intention to close our service with, to bring into Shabbat. It is the Hareini Mikabel Alai, which is on your handout. And the melody is very simple, and the English is simple, so you're going to have no problem with that. So just to quickly teach you once more so that when we do it, you can join in fully. So does anybody want to sing it with me to kind of teach? You don't have to. I'll just do it. Okay. So, Hareini Mekabel Alai. Try that. Hareini Mekabel Alai. Et mitzvat habore. Try that. Et mitzvat habore ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Excuse me. Let's try it. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Kamocha. Try that. Kamocha. Beautiful. Let's do do this. הריני מקבל עליי את מצוות הבורא ואהבת לרעך כמוך English. I'm accepting upon myself the Creator's command. Love your fellow as yourself, as yourself. הריני מקבל עליי את מצוות הבורא ואהבת לרעך כמוך I'm accepting upon myself the Creator's command. Love your fellow as yourself, as yourself. Let that be so for all of us. And wishing you a Shabbat of peace, wholeness, and completeness. And whoever gets to the challah does the blessing first. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.